Okay, the good news is we're in the TATO de Portugal final. And in the league, we caught and overtook Porto. The bad news is Benfica caught us both and overtook us. There's 2 games left. Our next game is against local rivals Porto. They can potentially stop us winning the league. The suspicious side of me thinks they came to do just that. They showed little to no attacking intent. Look how many players they have behind the ball. And this was a constant thing throughout this match. It ended 0-0, no good to us. And meanwhile, Benfica got the 1-0 win, which meant for the second straight season, Benfica are champions. Potentially, we could go our second season in a row trophyless. It's the TATO de Portugal final. So thankfully we don't go trophyless, and Marcus Paulo has started to come into the team. I'm getting ready for more transfers leaving us, to be honest. He started 7 times, 5 assists. We'll keep an eye on him for next season. And then bang, just like that, the toughest job offer I've had to turn down yet. Man City finally come calling, but it's a no. That was actually quite tough to turn down. That's quite tough. That's my team, but here we go. It's all about Salgueiros, and that tactic, we're going to park it for now. We're going to keep it in tactic slot 1, but we're going to build that new tactic in tactic slot 2 for season 18 coming up. I'm dreading the transfer window after last year.
I'm tired of being nice.
I've got brutal. Diego Volante, our club legend from day one. I have sacked him as director of football. In his place comes Fernandinho. It's not just a choice because it's a cool choice, but with our reliance on South America, I think he's a better fit for our club. He's our new director of football, which means our staff levels are again the highest in the league. Both coaching team, that's pretty good, and the recruitment team as well. So we had the whole preseason to try our new tactic, and first up was the Super Cup against Benfica. As always, we had quite a few players to bed in here, but it's really promising. So we managed to keep Leo Zeno after another hectic transfer window. We're going to get to that shortly. We've built a new tactic which we're working with. He's playing a little bit deeper than last season. Before we get to the tactic, I'll talk you through that. Let's have another look at another transfer window. Before I get to this year's transfer window, last year's transfer window ended up maxing out at 342 million. That's when all the other additional bonus fees and things came through. So yeah, 342 for last season. For this season, it's another huge one. Another £214 million worth of players has left the club. We've brought in 54 million to try and get a bit of a squad together. But let's have a look at who's left us. The first one, which we're pretty gutted about, is our anchorman, Hersum Cortijo. We only had him for 1 year. Signed on a free transfer. He leaves the club for 63 million, rising to 78. Daniel joins Newcastle for 42 million. Left back. I never really got the best out of him, so I'm not too worried about that one. However, now there's some big ones. Jonathan Duarte was our young goalkeeper. He's 21 now. He's gone to Bayer Leverkusen for 60 million, rising to 70 plus. And finally, Gonzalo Arusta, the best centre-back I think I've had in this game, has joined Tottenham. They've raided us yet again for 60 million, rising to 78. So to replace that, I've got another clutch of young players into the club. To replace Daniel, I think we've got a better player here in Miguel Angel Sanchez. He only cost us 8 million. To replace our Brazilian anchorman, this is Peter Vazinja. He cost us 11 million from Dinamo. Attacking midfielder Sandro Rogerio comes in for 15 million, our biggest outlay of the summer. Also signed with a clutch of young players that we've sent out on loan immediately. So somehow, someway, we've managed to cobble together a team for season 18. You can see the amount of players we've got on loan there. We might have to recall a few if we get a few injuries, because it's pretty light. It's a pretty light squad. The average age of this squad is just 22, and that's bulked out massively by Eloilson, who's 31, the elder statesman of the team. We turned down bids for Pedro, Leo Zeno. It could have been a lot worse. So this is what we're left with, and we've got ourselves a 4-3-3. I'll go through it now. I guess we'll start with the team instructions. You can see it's a positive mentality. We're going shorter passing, just a slightly higher tempo. Nothing too outrageous in transition. We're actually holding our shape when we win the ball back so we can build attacks again. And down here, we're going quite aggressive with a high line. and a step up more, try and squash the play a bit. As far as the team goes, we've got this complete wing back, which I think Sanchez will do a better job than Daniel did. These are the two centre backs that we'll see out the season. Now we lost Gonzalo, no problem with that. And in goals, we've got Garcia. We brought him in last season as a backup to Duarte. He's 6'6". I've got no issue with him. I think he'll be absolutely fine. Now, in build-up play, the inverted wing-back will sit in here alongside Ella Olsen to give us a 2 in there, which means Leo Zeno can push on and Mellin can push on as well to link up with Marcus Paulo down there. Not forgetting that Sanchez will spend most of his time up here. So it's still a really attacking, aggressive tactic. It's just a bit more patient than the other one. Saying that though, that still will be there if we need it. So if we need to drop back to that, if things aren't working with this one, we will do that. After all that upheaval, we're down in second for the odds for the season, 3-1. Benfica pretty strong favourites. But we have started the season pretty solid. We've won every match other than one against Boavista. So the team are getting to know the new formation. Now, off the pitch stuff, have a little look at this. This is the balance of the club at the minute. 323, nearly 324 million in profit. They must be loving life. And that's down to this. I've never seen this in FM, but here we are. The transfer value of our 121 players we have sold is now £1.16 billion. So the initial goal of getting a £1 billion profit is very close now. We'll do the maths, I think, on the next episode after the next January transfer window. More stuff behind the scenes. Some beautiful new kits there from Talis. Look at those. Kappa for you old school Serie A fans. I'm actually liking them that much. I'm considering getting concept kits made for us to wear. Thoughts? Also, have a look above my head. I've been working so hard on the board. Facilities now. 16 for training facilities. 17 for youth facilities. The academy coaching up to 14. The youth recruitment up to 15. Surely this is the year we get at least one player that isn't absolutely awful in the youth recruitment. Right? So on to season 18 we go. We've got 5 trophies to go for. We've got one in the bag. And the big one, obviously, as always, is the Champions League. But I won't lie, I want that league title back. It's been 2 years now. We need to get that back. Let's see.